Hello, turtle fans! It's Terrapin Ted here, and today I'm going to talk about everything there is to know about taking care of your Diamondback Terrapins. We're going to cover everything from feeding, to filtration, to physical enclosure, and finally fitness. So let's get started. The first thing that people ask me is, what do you feed your Terrapins? I've been looking after turtles for about 40 years now, and I've seen it all. They ask me, what do you feed your turtles? How often do you feed your turtles? How much do you feed your turtles? Let's cover all of that today. One rule of thumb, first of all, let's talk about how much, is the quantity of food that you could fit in your turtle's head per day, right? This is for a growing turtle. For a turtle that's not growing, it's every other day, okay? Remember, the size of their head per day for a growing turtle. Now let's talk about what we feed them. Well, you're looking at every single type of food that I feed my turtles, and I alternate. Most important thing is variety and to ensure that they're getting everything that they need. Terrapins, very important thing. In the wild, they're used to breaking shells of crustaceans. So I always make sure I have shrimp or crab for them. Okay. Next thing that you see is the aquatic pellets for hatchlings. Very important. I've got 4-month hatchlings, and I also have yearlings. So I make sure that I, give each turtle what they need, right? Repto treat. You see Missouri. One of the things that's really important to note is that you got to ensure that your turtles are eating what you give them, right? Don't just throw in a huge amount of food and just hope it gets consumed. Feed them a little at a time, monitor, and ensure that you're giving them the variety. You should switch what you give them each day, right? And ensure you're giving them what they need based on their age. Okay, you can see everything that I give them. This is all available through your local store or through Amazon. Now, let's talk about the physical enclosure and filtration. If you look at my physical enclosure here, I have a 225 gallon tank that I'm using for turtles, right? It's not a community tank. It's really just meant for these terrapin turtles. And inside, the only things that you'll see here are animals that the terrapins are going to feed on. So in this case, you're looking at ruby red minnows, right? So again, what's really important when you talk about tank size is that you have at least 10 gallons per inch of shell. Very important. Okay, minimum is 20 gallons. Now, filtration, very important. You're looking at one of my FS6s. Okay, so overfilter, 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 overfilter is the rule. You cannot overfilter enough. That's all I have to say. But if you look in here, you can see that, I could have powered this with one FX6, and that would have been overfiltering. But I have two. And another thing that I have is a UV light where I pump water through, and that UV light sterilizes bacteria. Remember, you always hear turtles are messy eaters. Turtles are messy eaters. Yes, they are messy eaters. And that's why you've got to overfilter. Another thing that you see in there is a pump that I have just to circulate water. Right? So I make sure that this whole tank is perfectly filtered. It's overfiltered probably to the 5th time that I need. And I also have that UV sterilization. Basking, very important. Now, you saw a basking spot that I built on top of the enclosure. This is a separate basking area that I use to get the turtles natural sun. And that's right outside my balcony. So the turtles get sun once a day through natural sunlight. And whether it's in this enclosure or whether it's the backyard, they get the natural sunlight once per day. So here you see just some free roaming. I'm lucky enough to have the space at my house to have an area that I can just have the turtles roam and sun, and that's what you're looking at here. Again, basking is very, very important for turtles. So one of the things that you want to do, if you don't have the room or time or ability to let your turtles naturally bask in the sun, is you want to make sure that you have a basking area in your enclosure that's accessible to the turtles, that's private, and the most important thing is that the turtles use it, right? So you're going to want to make sure that you maintain the proper temperature. And I'm not going to give you the parameters right now. This video is for terrapins. But what I want you to do is look at your specific species of turtle and find out what's the ideal basking temperature. What I do is I have a UVB light that's also a heat lamp, right? It's a liquid vapor bulb, and it provides heat as well as a UVB rays that replace that natural sunlight. So what I do with that is I provide the ultimate basking area for my turtles. And in other videos, you'll see the whole setup where, yes, it's 225 gallons. Yes, it is full. But I have a turtle topper, and I have a ramp for the turtles to go up, access that top area. And not only do they have an area of basking, but what's really important to me is that they have fresh water. And that's one thing that I feel strongly about when I keep my terrapins, is I keep my terrapins in brackish water, because that's really that really mimics what their environment in the wild. Now I know a lot of people keep them in fresh water, and they're very successful doing that, and that's fine. I happen to keep mine in brackish water, but I always make sure that I have fresh water in the basking area for the turtles to access at any time. And I also monitor the turtles to make sure that they're using it. Right? So I hope you guys found this video useful. If you have any questions about terrapins whatsoever, please just hit me up on the YouTube channel. I'll be happy to assist in any way I can. Thank you.